Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. We want to thank you for coming in today for our SGA Town Hall for the fall. So first things first, if you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll bring a mic to you. If you're in the Teams chat, also raise your hand, or you can type your question in the chat. Somebody will get to you. Once again, thank you for coming. My name is Jumong, and I'm one of the SGA members. Nice to see you all. We have Dave, an SGA member right now. We have Emma. We have Grace. We have Steven. We have Lindsay. We have Kyle. Francis. Tawa. And
hello, my name is Seth. Good afternoon, everyone. I wanted to thank President Curtinitis, Provost Martinez, and the administration for being here today and showing incredible support to the student body and the SGA throughout the years. Additionally, though, I wanted to say something specifically to President Curtinitis, Provost Martinez, and the administration before I move on. And it was that the last time that I had the opportunity to speak with the administration present today was actually towards the end of the spring semester. I expressed my difficulty in navigating my educational pathway as a child of immigrant parents whose survival was based on their income. Looking at it in retrospect, I kind of wish I worded it differently because it sounded like I was dissatisfied with the position I stood as a community college student, implying that if I knew more about the world as a child, that I would have been someplace else. After being here for about a little over 2 years, I've come to grow. My appreciation has grown so much towards the culture of this community, the people that I have the privilege of engaging with, and the resources provided to aid students like me in our future. I am so grateful and so privileged to be here. And I just wanted to say thank you for listening to me. And I hope that it did not come off like as if I was unhappy. I am so, so happy. And the longer that I am here, my gratitude towards this community grows so much. And now, if everybody could please let me introduce the president of the largest institution of higher education in the county. She has dedicated over 50 years of involvement in community college as a respected leader and educator, President Curtinitis.
Well, you know what? We're so happy that you are so happy now. Thank you for starting that way. You know, those of you who are here today who are maybe still pretty new to the college, maybe you don't have a sense yet of who we are, what we do here, and how passionately everybody at this institution, if they stay for longer than a month, turns into an advocate for students. Maybe sometimes we don't feel like that, but I tell you that a college of this size that has about 50,000 students has a lot of students to care about, and we care about each and every one of them. So I thank you for giving me a chance to sort of open this discussion. The discussion is really for you. We are here, the provost and I are here. I see several others of our administrative leadership. And so this gives us a chance to hear where you are, what your concerns are. And it's the only time during the semester that you're going to have the president, the provost, several other of our key administrators, all a captive audience. So whatever you have to say to us, we are here to try to be responsive. But the one thing, maybe the one sort of not exactly message, but framing for this discussion and almost every other discussion that we have here. What I'd like you to know is that the college leadership, the college faculty, the college almost everybody who works here is really now focused on following the three phrases that we use. So we've all come out of the pandemic. We're all here. Some of us happier than others. But this is a college that has actually said, we ain't going backwards. We are going forwards. We're going to actually reframe our whole conversation. We don't want to talk about 2019. We want to talk about what you need us to talk about right now. We've got resources to invest in our students, to invest in our students' needs, to invest in what we know we need to have in the classroom so that you can leave us a year from now, a month from now, well prepared to go where you're going. And I want to assure you all, and I'm looking at an audience that I hope understands this and appreciates it, that one of the things that happens at CCBC is we work really hard to lead with equity. So all of that is just sort of a framework at a very high level of what we try to do. And now I'm pretty sure you're going to ask us questions that bring us way down to the ground, and we will try to answer them as best we can. But if you have any big ideas you'd like to share with us, we'd like to hear about that as well. So with that, let me ask the provost to say a word or no, he's shy, doesn't want to say. Now I've shamed you. You have to do it.
Thank you very much. When the boss says a few words, then you get a few words. I'm delighted actually to be here with you. The reason I hesitate is I want to make sure that the agenda has enough time for you, which is the real reason why we're here. I remember very distinctly the day that we met and your story when you shared it with us. I told you then that I could very much relate to your own personal experience. I too was the first in my family to graduate from college and came to the United States in search of the American dream. So I told you then, and I tell you now, I see you and I'm very proud of you. And I'm glad you've come to enjoy CCBC because it is a wonderful place. It's a dream factory, really. And the president's right, it's what gets us out of bed in the morning. We spend a whole lot of time thinking and worrying about all of you. And so I'm very happy to participate in this forum and welcome you to share your thoughts, your ideas, whether they're really close to the ground or 30,000 feet up. It's your microphone today. So thank you and welcome.
We would now like to give special thanks for some of the more recent programs that CCBC has implemented. We, the students, would like to extend our sincere gratitude to the Community College of Baltimore County for the implementation of the Food Lockers program. CCBC has long hosted pantries at the Office of Student Engagement on each of its main campuses so that students in need can obtain food, hygiene, and school supply resources in a free, safe, and anonymous way. While the pantries themselves are widely appreciated, they fall short in the fact that they are only available during the operation hours of the offices they are housed in. The extension of this free service in the form of food lockers allows some of our most vulnerable students to obtain these resources at any time the college is open. By simply signing up each week using any of the flyers present around campus and posted to student engagement social media, students can now request a wide variety of quick and easy meals, snacks, and personal hygiene products to be picked up at any time throughout the week. The Food Lockers program is a step forward in ensuring that students experiencing food insecurity can focus on class and obtain their degree without having to worry about where their next meal will come from. In a country where food resources are abundant but costly, food insecurity should never be a deciding factor in preventing anyone from pursuing a higher education, especially not at this college. It is imperative that we care for our community to ensure that all students have equitable access to education. And one of the most important steps in this process is ensuring meal and hygiene access.
The personal hygiene products are available throughout Catonsville, Essex, Dundalk, and in the gender inclusive bathrooms, which you can scan the code and find the specific locations throughout each campus. They have created a space of equality, safety throughout the school by allowing everyone to easily and safely obtain one of the basic needs they need in their life. The pilot program has gone smoothly so far with minimal issues. There have been no calls of empty dispensers. The only main issue that was noted was falling of dispensers, which has been resolved, and there was also the issue of a late delivery of tampons, which has also been resolved. The companies that we have partnered up with was Femly in Catonsville, On Flow in Essex and Dundalk. We as the students would like to thank you for those who worked on the project and show our support for the future of the project. Thank you.
For the students in the audience, know that CCBC wants to see you succeed so that you can make a difference in your community, in our community. As an individual who works with CCBC in various capacities, as both a member of the Student Government Association and a member of President Kurtinitis' Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging Advisory Council, I can say for certain that CCBC is continuously striving to aid student success in whatever ways that it can. All kinds of free resources are provided to students through various offices on campus, ranging from college and community outreach services, such as the Success Navigators, which provide references for all kinds of personal problems, to free tutoring resources at the Student Success Center, to even career and childcare services. The best way you, as students, can give back to CCBC is to simply complete your degree and continue on your own path to find your purpose in life and create a better world.
So now we're going to talk about the religious holiday policy. So we've been working for this for over a year, and we're just going to go over the goals and just a quick update on the policy. All right. So the first short-term goal is to reinforce the existing policy on religious holidays regarding absences, and requiring it to be stated on the syllabi. We also want to mandate faculty to review the religious policy with each class of the students at the start of the new semester. And then we also want to ensure that CCBC administration sends an updated calendar with the major religious holiday dates to every faculty and staff at CCBC at the start of every semester alongside the syllabus of the classes.
Some of the long-term goals that we've kind of been working towards is making sure that to implement a readily accessible academic calendar on the CCBC website, including, I really don't want to butcher these, but hopefully I'm saying it right, but okay.
So actually, I'm gonna speak about this. So including gonna be like Eid al-Adha or Eid al-Fitr. Those are the two celebrations, specific celebrations for the Muslim students per year, including like the major ones in the years.
Thank you. We also would like to hopefully have at least one of the two major Islamic holidays off, acknowledging these concerns with that the CCBC students kind of face.
Okay, with the high Muslim student population at CCBC, every person deserves a right to celebrate these holidays with their families without fearing that the facility or the staff may not accommodate these needs.
Implementing a readily accessible academic calendar on the CCBC website, including these two holidays, and have at least one day off of the two major Islamic holidays. I'm so sorry. Okay. So during Ramadan, these Muslim students practice their religious obligations, fasting for 30 days. And while they fast, they are trying to balance their school and their academics, which makes it kind of difficult to be able to perform to their religious obligations, yet also making sure that they are maintaining their academic status at CCBC. Baltimore County Public Schools, also known as BCPS, are closed on these holidays, yet CCBC is not. And families are struggling to maintain their religious practices with their families and with students of CCBC. As you can see, that this is one of the past academic calendars in which they do accommodate to the students and their religious needs in terms of these holidays. And I believe that if BCPS can do it, then I know that CCBC can do it too. And I am aware that it's probably going to be a long process and it's probably going to have to go through a lot of discussion, but we're just really hoping that it can get to there one day, and making sure that these students don't fear that their religious needs or their religious obligations will not be hindered, because there are still some faculty that don't have it stated in their syllabus of these policies that they need to accommodate to. And there have been experiences at CCBC where religious students would not have professors accommodate to their needs because they simply didn't want to, or maybe they felt some type of bias. But there have been those experiences, and it's unfortunate that it happens, but it's really important that we make sure that this is implemented in their syllabus and in the academic calendar to make sure that these students at least feel acknowledged or heard on some level. But there has been some update on the religious holiday policy. It was proposed last year in the fall of 2022, the last town hall meeting. It did take a little bit of while. It's been a year. It still hasn't really been made any change. But following a reminder from the SGA to the Senate, the proposal did acknowledge that they're going to review it, or that it was going to be in review or in process. And I believe that was on October 16th. The policy is going to go through with SESCA, which is an organization that focuses on student concerns. And that's going to be on November 20th. After we kind of discuss, the student government discusses with SESCA in regard to the religious holiday policy, it's going to go back to Senate, and then they're going to have a final verdict as to the the religious holiday policy and what that's going to look like for us. But yeah, and that will be on December 18th. And that is it for the religious holiday policy update. Thank you for listening.
Hi everyone again. The next one we're going to be talking about is the shuttle services. Actually, think that everyone here is already tired of us because we bring it up every semester. We keep bringing it up. Fix the shuttle service. People are complaining a lot about it. They keep saying there's a shortage of drivers. So we decided to look into that and find solutions for this semester. Okay, what are the current issues the shuttle has? The first issue is the inconsistent shuttle service. The scheduling is not readily accessible. A lot of students have complained they find problem with navigating the schedule. They have to come 2 hours early. They have to be there in order to make their shuttle service at Dundalk. For example, you have to leave in order to reach Dundalk at 10 a.m., let's say, you have to be at Owings Mills at 8 a.m. on the dot to catch the shuttle, which will take you to Catonsville. Then you transfer to the next shuttle to take you to Essex, then to Dundalk. So there's been a lot of complaints about that. The next thing, because of the shuttle services, a lot of students have been able to miss classes because the schedule is not consistent, so they miss the classes. And as I mentioned, they have to move from campus to campus. So we decided to discuss with the director of the transportation system at TCBC, because we were thinking, the idea was that we could take students from the commercial driving license program CCBC has to offer and directly pipeline them to be drivers at the CCBC shuttle service. So unfortunately, it came to our attention that we couldn't even find a job description for the shuttle driving service. So we were trying to find if you needed a commercial driving license, but we couldn't find that job description. So that's one of the problems we discovered. Another thing is, which I mentioned before, is shortage of drivers. And Stacy was kind enough to mention that even if we did find this job description and created the pipeline for commercial driving license students to able to drive shuttles at CCBC, they won't take it because the pay is too low. The pay is $16 an hour, and they will prefer to work for the MTA, which pays them an average of $25, $30. So what are the impacts of these problems? First, they limit the scope of class selection for students. For example, I need to take a calculus class at Essex, which is only available at Essex and honors calculus class. So luckily, I do have a car right now. But if I was using the CCBC shuttle service, I won't take the class because that's a lot of a headache. So a limited scope of class selection. Another thing is the consistent schedule is crucial for students to be able to make the classes on time. And a reliable transportation service reduces the stress and the logistic challenges that students face when choosing the classes once again.
Okay. I would like to speak on the solutions that me, Dumont, and Lindsay has proposed. And one of them would be providing scholarships and grants with terms and conditions requiring a shuttle employment for a given period of time. This way that we believe that the price incentive right now is not necessarily encouraging for students to really like cancel maybe their morning classes to like fulfill the requirements for the shuttle bus that we have right now. So we think offering a scholarship would really reward certain people that would really want to take this job. For the second point is to advertise and extend the shuttle job opportunities to students. As we said, I personally actually went to the website. I honestly couldn't find the job description for the shuttle bus service. So I think if we were to advertise it more, students would be more aware that this is a demand and need, and we're willing to compensate people who are willing to actually provide a service. And then the third point is pay raise. We think it'd be more competitive if if a student were to hear that they'd be paid, let's say 17 or 18 hour than 15, because people who are going to these the CDL services, they rather want to be heard that to be paid 25 per hour than like 15, which is what they're paying right now. That's what I've heard. So if we increase it maybe one or $1 more, $2 more, and then add the scholarships and grants, we really think that most students would be encouraged to actually solve the pressing need that most students are actually going through right now. So
Recently, we found out that you actually don't need a CDL to drive the shuttle because it's under the weight limit. So if we implement all these proposals we have made, a lot of students might be able to apply for the job after some training, though. We know that people don't want to drive without training.
So one of the benefits that we know that will come in handy is the consistency of shuttle schedule. So this facilitated the approach will ensure a reliable shuttle service, reducing delays and missed classes for students. And the other thing was employment opportunities. So by involving students, we believe that the opportunities that this proposal offer will support their financial needs while encouraging their sense of responsibility in the CCBC community. And with the improved campus transportation, this pipeline will contribute to enhanced campus transportation for all students and faculty and staff the whole CCBC community. So these benefits of a proposal extend far beyond just improving the shuttle service at CCBC. And by implementing student driver pipeline, we are not only ensuring a reliable and consistent transport system, but you're also fostering career development, academic recognition, and financial support for our students. So we hope that you stand by our proposal and you give us feedback. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Are we having a good time? Okay. Modernizing payments. I know this, be wondering if this is something extraordinary. No, it's something that we use every day. How many of us here uses Apple Pay? Cash App? Google Pay? Okay. So we're here to introduce digital payments, which we know that CCBC at the moment does not accept. We only do cash, check, and credit card, and one card. But if a student wants to refill the one card, you can't do that with your Apple Pay. You can't do that with your paper. So we try to introduce this. For now, it's not a proposal. We intend to work on the full proposal, but we want you to help us to decide on which of the payment platform is best for us to go with. We believe that digital payment is something that resonates with students. As you can see here, most of us use Apple Pay and paper, and as well as Cash App. And we also believe that it's something that have been proven to help in seamless transaction payments, as well as improve efficiency. You can easily track your payment history if there's any transaction dispute. The benefits are enormous, as you can see.
Hi. And I will also add that cash is not something that is typically carried these days. I know I'm younger and I had cash on me to buy the aquarium tickets. I think that was the last time I actually had cash in my wallet, which I am very excited for, the aquarium night coming up. So some of the benefits that we believe will happen with improving or modernizing payments on CCBC is that it enables this seamless resolution of transactions by providing transaction history details. So with that, students or leaders can tell, okay, this is exactly who paid when, and you don't have to, maybe if someone in the office doesn't have the best handwriting and it's just on a sticky note who paid when, you don't have to worry about that because it will all be online and it will be very seamless. I think this will also increase the sales because, as I just mentioned, I don't carry cash on me a lot. So students who are possibly like myself and don't carry cash on them, then if we are able to have Apple Pay and they're like, oh, I have Apple Pay, I can actually afford it, or I can actually do it now. I don't have to worry about running to the bank, running to an ATM if they only have Apple Pay. And it also provides students the opportunity to make the payment straight from their smartphone, which I believe probably everyone here has on them at some point, at least today. Um, and then it also enhances the efficiency of the payment. Unlike manual handling of checks, of cash and checks, you're not trying to count the change of a, cash. You're not trying to worry about if all of the checks are in order and have all of the right details and then going to the bank to put in the checks. It's just very seamless and very timely. Students tap their cards, they tap their phones, it says you paid, and then that's pretty much it on the student's end. For the office, of course, there is the record of who has paid. Is there no, how do I do this? How do I flip to the next?
All right, like I said, we want you guys to help us to decide which payment platform that you guys prefer. So kindly scan the QR code and fill it out. Let's know what you want. Thank you.
I'm gonna leave this here for a second in case anyone didn't get it. Um, but as you probably saw, our next section is the Q&A. So if anyone has any questions about anything that we talked about here, or if you have any concerns about anything on campus, now would be the time to do so. Before we start, I would like to remind everyone that we do have virtual participants. As such, if you are in the audience, you must use a microphone. We have 4 stationed around the room. We also have SGA members who are willing to hand you a microphone. So if you're here, you can raise your hand and we'll give you one. And if you're online, I believe that there is a message in the chat telling you so, but you can virtually raise your hand. We will take a quick pause and we will unmute you so that you can talk. Let's begin.
Hello, everyone. I'm called Lawton Fungi. It's a wonderful opportunity having the president here and every other person. So I'm a member of MSSI. So I have a question. Currently, we've had a lot of issues with security in schools. What happened in Morgan? We've had incidents that are happening in high schools. We're having what happened at Maine. So first of all, I want to thank CCBC, the president, and the security officers here. The security is amazing. The drill, every other thing is amazing. It's amazing. I've been able to go to a library. I have a library close to my house to go study. And when I go there to study, I'm like, no, I need to go to school because school is safe. But it's still a concern. And I believe that we can do better. So for the past months, me and a group of members in MSSI who have taken this as a real concern, and we're hoping to present it before the president because it's a real concern. Whether we like it or not, it's happening. And we have to look for measures to make sure every student that comes to school is safe and secure. So we were planning to build a system that tracks guns on students meters away without passing through a metal dictator, without passing through anything. The fact that you're on campus, we are able to trace guns on you meters away without necessarily passing through a point. So that's what recently we've been working on, and we've been hoping. Luckily, thank God I'm here. I can even see the president, and I'm like, wow. So I'm able to present this before the president. I'm hoping that she gives us an opening to present our project before her, and then she approves it and then helps us with the financing and the people, and then we continuously build what we're building. But what we're building is able to trace guns on everyone who enters campus. Everyone, being a security, trace guns on you, and then alert the security in school so that the person comes to you and checks and make sure you're safe and you're supposed to carry a gun in school. And also, it's able to close doors in the campus, should in case we notice a gun on you where you're not supposed to be, it close the door and make sure you don't enter into the campus and cause any incident. So, but all of this still we cannot do it without the help of the president, without her support, without everyone's support, so we are hopefully hoping that you approve the project. And
Well, I'd like to respond. And before I do, I want to just thank I'm good. I'm going to stand right here. They can see me. I think they can hear me. But I appreciate what you're saying. What I wanted to say as we were going through the other parts of the program, that I really appreciate that the student government has put on the table issues that matter to students. And, you know, the provost and I and the other folks who are here, I see some directors, an assistant vice president. I mean, we really do care. So to your point, I thank you for actually working with the MSSI fellows to be able to put together some kind of proposal. We certainly would want to hear it. Now, I'm sure you know Vice President Ken Westry, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So so this is what I'm going to suggest. Please work on your proposal and then, and I'll mention this to him when I see him tomorrow, that what you should do is have him bring that to the executive staff meeting. We meet every Tuesday and we would love to hear proposals. I'd also like to say, you know, this is my 19th year here at the Community College of Baltimore County. And we have been blessed that we have never experienced something as shocking, as hurtful, as harmful as what happened at Morgan, what has happened at so many other places. That's the way we want to keep it. But for your assurance, you should also know, and while we welcome the kind of program that you spoke of, but you should also know that the security department here at the college is actually a very well-trained and highly sensitive group of men and women. They are all appointed at the level of public safety officers who are certified. And we've spent a lot of money over the years investing in cameras. So you ought to know that. Don't walk down the hall scratching your nose. Somebody's going to see you. Somebody's watching. And I don't mean to be flip. We've made extraordinary commitments to trying to keep our universe as safe as possible. What you've described, I actually am wondering what kind of technology can do that. You're going to show us that. Welcome it. Absolutely. We are 100% committed to trying to keep our college community safe. And, you know, we're huge. There are 50,000 students at this college. So you are a very small part of a very large community of students, all of whom come here, we think, and we value to study and learn, not to come and do harm. But we're going to be as ready as we can when that day comes. And you're
Thank
going to
you.
help us.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Different topic or same?
Very similar topic. Sorry, I had this whole thing prepped up before I came here, and now it's just a stage fright coming.
How about if we just look this way?
Well, first off, thank you very much for coming by here. It's been a absolute pleasure and honor for you to swing by for the student hall. I'll very much appreciate you swinging by. Sorry, repeating my words. As the vice president of student member outreach of the Tabletop Club, we have been trying to provide a little recreational for students who are going through mental health and trying to provide an outlet for the high stress that is college. We have seen, at least in my own experience, and with, I will assume many of you all, go through a lot of high stress, and many students drop out due to issues coming up with life. Having gone through and worked with student navigation through my own personal experience, I've found that there's a lacking in mental health and crisis counseling provided by CCBC. While it's amazing what our student navigation department does, and it is amazing what our student engagement office does. We have the dog therapy coming up next week here at the barn on Catonsville campus. Members of the CPC Tabletop Club, we've been trying to come up with a proposal for expanding the crisis counseling and mental health support for students with going through crisis, which could be used for helping with as Phil Senior. I do apologize for forgetting.
Cool. Can I maybe respond to something? And then I'd like the dean, if he would, to talk a little more about this. You are correct. We have many students. We have many employees who are suffering. It's not just a kind of still trying to come out of COVID and be sane. You can't not feel the tension in the world, and tension in the world translates to our lives. Tension in the world translates into homelessness and hunger and lack of support, lack of financing. So I will tell you one little historical detail, which I think will lead then to what I think the dean will talk about. Years ago, we actually had on each campus a counselor for many purposes, mental health or whatever. What we realized was that having only one person, and the campuses weren't as large as they are today, meant that maybe 20 students a month could get some kind of help when there were so many other students who needed it as well. So we made a decision to move to the strategy of having the, what are we calling Heather's program these days? College and community outreach. We are now able, now this is helping in many ways, but we're now able to help 1,000 students a semester rather than 20 or 50 or something like that. Now, that doesn't mean that we could not hire all the people we would need to be ministering to 1,000 students. So the partnership program that Heather Greiner and her team, the navigators, you've worked with the navigators, and I hope you found that helpful.
Unfortunately, I have not.
You have not. Okay, well, that's an issue maybe we take up in a different way. So the strategy that we are using is that we have partners who provide mental health support. If we need to do more, we would be happy to consider other proposals, but we know that students are suffering. We know they are. We know employees are suffering. Life's hard. Life's hard these days for lots of reasons. So we're not neglectful of that, but I'd like to ask the dean if he would talk about the strategy we do have in place to try to be helpful to students. Oh, you have, okay.
Yeah, thanks. So I think Dr. Kurtnitis kind of set up for the history of how College and Community Outreach, the Office of College and Community Outreach was formed, was created. And coming into the pandemic, it met our needs. It met the needs of our students in terms of external referrals to counseling services that were either free or fee-based. What we're experiencing now is that mental health concerns in our community are paramount, and it's harder to get people in to see counselors, to get appointments in a timely fashion. So we are looking at other options available to college communities. One in particular that we're digging pretty deep into to see if it's feasible would be telehealth, where the college has a contract and certified counselors are on the other end of whether it's, Teams or Zoom or telephone. And we think that potentially moving in that direction would help. There will always be a limit to the resources that we can provide. So there may be a 3 or a 5 visit cap on that per student. If you can imagine, we're trying to provide resources to 50,000 people. And we don't have the budget that Baltimore County or the state of Maryland has. And we don't want to duplicate services either that are available in the community. But where those services aren't available or they're not meeting our needs, we are actively looking to augment what we already provide students with potentially some telehealth therapy as well.
You would hit it right on the nose of what we were going to propose. So that was one of the three different proposals that we had. One was outreaching and trying to out to several of the peer support specialists in the area, as there are quite a few more than another avenue. And also working with student engagement for bringing more awareness onto mental health, whether it be more flyers all across campus for making sure students are informed on their or on what is offered by the college, but that is more of a conversation for the student engagement.
If you will connect with me after the meeting, I would love to hear more about the proposals.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great.
I didn't get your name. I'm sorry. I didn't get your name earlier.
My name is Colin Hardy.
Colin. Yeah, that's what I was going to suggest, that you follow up, Colin, with Dean Eckert to
Thank you.
discuss.
Okay, hello. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm a representative of the Esports Club, and I want to begin with congratulations for the Degree to Succeed signing ceremony at Morgan State University. The program has helped a lot of students, and we're very happy about that. And taking a look at Morgan State University, they have an esports program for students who are interested in esports. And when I went through their website, I just noticed they won the esports Middle Eastern tournament, the championship. So when I saw it, I was like, wow, okay, the president was there. So what if I could propose the idea? Because we signed with Morgan State, so we're trying to emulate what they do. So having it in CCBC and engaging our students to helping them to participate in such tournaments will be good. So we started an esports club because we've had the vision of participating in such tournaments, and we've seen other schools take part in them, and it engages a lot of students. Because one thing that is very common with, let me say, our age bracket, because I might just put it between, let's say, 17 to 25, we all love some sort of gaming. I know some people in the house love gaming here too. So for the esports, where we met a block to our participation in tournaments, because the school doesn't have any structure for that. And to register for the tournament, it requires some sort of funds and affiliation through the NJCAA. So we spoke to a lot of authorities in athletics, and we have registered a club with student engagement. But our proposal we're bringing to this meeting was to have a way forward to participating in such tournaments. So we wanted to find out if we could be helped as a student organization to join these tournaments and participate with other schools. It's not only going to be beneficial to us, the members of the club, but it's going to be beneficial to everybody, because the tournaments have rewards and scholarships for many students, and it gives more diversity to entry into other schools. Maybe someone is not academically strong or academically good, but the person might be good enough in esports to get a scholarship in another school like Morgan State University. If you're good enough in esports, you can have an opportunity in Morgan State to go there on full ride. They pay for your tuition for you to do that for their school. Like the way they won the tournament, if we had people from CCBC through the Degrees to Succeed program, we could have students who go there and represent Morgan State in a 4-year college and have a scholarship because of esports. So we're interested to share this vision with everybody and see the way forward and whatever we could do about it.
So I promise I did not pay the participants for these questions. So we have a proposal that's almost ready to present to the college administration to start a pilot esports program. It would start as a club and organization first,
Yes.
with the idea of getting NJCAA recognition and moving in that direction within a year or two.
Okay.
It has to be at one campus, right? We can't invest that much capital in all three campuses. We have to make sure we grow it responsibly.
Okay.
But we're on the same page.
Yes.
I took a look at a couple of other community colleges in our area that have esports programs, what their setups are like, in order to get, a kind of cost analysis and breakdown and stuff. So with fingers crossed, I think in the spring, we may see some movement on a proposal for the beginning of an esports program. So keep your eyes out.
Okay. Thank you very
Well, I'm
much.
glad to hear what you've just said, but I want to question you.
Yes, sir.
Are you in the Degrees to Succeed program?
Well, for me, I had more credits than required to be in the program. But when I registered, they connected me to UMBC and other schools, and I've been talking with transfer advisors, and they've made it free for me to apply to the schools without any fee. So I didn't take the chance to be in the Degree to Succeed program, which I regret now, because I was always like just coming to school, going home, not seizing opportunities. But this semester has opened my eyes a lot because I could join the student engagement program. I could learn a lot. So I think that was what
So that's
I
how you
missed
found
out
out
on.
about it, but too late to help you. Is that right?
Yes.
Well, you've given us an opportunity to just say what it is. Do you want the provost? We've got a captive audience here.
we
Tell them about this wonderful Degrees to Succeed program, and I bet the MSSS guys know about it, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, lest the president concludes that you did something wrong, I want to make
No.
sure. I want to make sure to clarify that his arrival at CCBC preceded the launch of the Degrees to Succeed program. But you raise an important point. Before I answer the president's question, in the case of Morgan and every other Degrees to Succeed, it's a dual admissions program. So both institutions are making a commitment to you on day one. The dean is right. He has been discussing esports with me, and a proposal is en route. But I'd like to explore a little further about ways that we could actually leverage existing programs with our partners so that they can start delivering on that promise that you really are a student at both institutions at once. Therefore, why couldn't you be a Degrees to Succeed student and a member of their and our joint esports club, right? So Degrees to Succeed is really that. The president has a great tagline, dual admissions on steroids. It's one student, two institutions, one experience from day one. When you arrive here, you get a CCBC ID and an ID to one of our partner institutions, a UMBC hat and a CCBC sweatshirt. And from day one, you have a ton of resources that both institutions are putting at your disposal. Scholarships, access to Bridge Advisor, a commitment to getting accepted as a junior with junior standing, where all of your courses count and all of your credits count in the program of study that you're pursuing. Access to both campuses at once. So you could potentially work out at the gym at CCBC on Monday and at the gym at Towson on Tuesday, or attend a football game on Wednesday at one of the partner colleges. You're really benefiting from admission to both institutions from the very beginning of your experience. And every single one of you who arrives at CCBC today will encounter the Degrees to Succeed program. We get it right at your orientation, right at your ACDV, the first course that you ever take in college, and right with your caseload managed advisor, your dedicated advisor who is here with you from day one, a counselor that's helping you who is a specialist in that partnership, and a bridge advisor from the partner institution. So you have both colleges rooting for you. The catch is you've got to commit to completing your degree here, because we know that when you do that, you're actually going to outperform the native population of students who are at that institution. They really want you because you're going to outshine them when you get there. And that's why we're very excited to put this program out there for you.
My name is Loretta. I've been a student at CCBC for 2 years.
But the proposal I wanted to give was if we can have more speed bumps on campus because of my safety. On the Kittensville campus, the little, what's it called, the roundabout over there by the across the barn and the mansion. I would like for us to have more speed bumps over there because a lot of people speed on school grounds, and also literally right in front of the library. The other day I was walking out of my car and a car literally just like flew past me. I was like, whoa. So I'm like, if we can implement more speed bumps on campus just to control like speeds of like how everybody's driving, that would be really nice. My second proposal, which I don't really know if it can be done, but I'm a STEM major, and some classes that many STEM majors have are offered are like in specific doing specific semesters. So like let's say like I take nutrition right now, and there's only one class that's online. I mean on all three campuses, just one class. I mean, that's in person, I'm sorry. And personally, I'm a type of student that I have to sit in class in order for me to understand. Fully online, that doesn't work with me. So this semester, I was pushed to take a fully online class because I couldn't drive all the way to Dundalk, which I had to do that last semester. I had to drive to Dundalk and Essex and Catonsville, all three campuses to take a class. But this semester, I couldn't do it just because the driving was not gonna happen with me. So I was forced, I had no other choice to take nutrition fully online. And it's not been the best because I'm not a fully online student. I can't teach myself and take an exam. So I just wanted to propose that maybe for many STEM majors that classes are limited, maybe on every single campus, we have nutrition, one class that's in person, a class that's fully online, a class that is hybrid. So every student gets the option to choose what is good for them and what is beneficial to them, instead of like us having to like, just as I said, like having to go far and beyond in order to go to other campuses just because I want to take a class. So yeah, those are my two proposals.
Oh, hi everyone. My name is Nicole and I'm an international student here at CCPC. I just want to say thank you, CCPC, because this gave me a new approach about education. My concern is, well, I don't drive, so usually someone can give me a ride and I go back to my home. But I don't know if you guys, when you come here to the campus, you're in South Rolling Road and you go to the campus drive, I have seen from the summer and right now many people walking, and if you see it's really dangerous because there are cars going on, and I was thinking about if there's a sidewalk for them, but it is not. So my concern comes to here is there is a possible project I could bring to you, Dr. Kunides, and anyone who is interested in this project to build like a sidewalk so students can go, because I know many students like walk from their houses because they live near. And of course, I think the sidewalk will be a really advantage for them to walk instead of like having to go from the grass then to the road and all this stuff.
I'll let you ask your question in a second. My name is Tim Burnham, the Executive Director for Facilities for the college. We've heard that before. We are trying to work with the county because the stretch of road from the traffic light over to Collegiate is a county road and not a college road. So we're trying to work with them. We've incorporated it into our master plan to try to have a bike path as well as a sidewalk. Thank you for the hidden voice back there. So I do appreciate it.
Hello, thank you so much. My name is Amber Kennington. I'm a third semester student here at CCPC. I attend CCPC Essex. And I want to talk about a couple things. First, too, I just want to tie into Colin's talk about mental health resources, and also I want to talk about the gaming club before I get into a heavier topic that I want to start a discussion on. First, I want to start with Colin's mental health, an addendum to that. I appreciate your suggestions for more student outreach, and I think there's not a lack of it, but I think the advertising for more student outreach is limited and difficult to find. So I really appreciate bringing that to students and also faculty members' attention. And I also want to say that I think there should be more advertising for external resources that may not be partnered necessarily with CCVC, but actually resources to find other resources, if you understand what I mean. On top of that, I want to also talk about the esports club. I know you talked about funding for the esports program. And me and my friends are running a proposal for a queer inclusive gaming club as like a club, like a student organization. And I was wondering maybe there could be clubs on individual campuses that have connections to that main esports scholarship division. That way the money is still connected to that esports club, but also we have the resources for students on other campuses to actually tie into that. But yeah, so on top of those two things, I also want to bring attention to a heavier topic about Title IX and various issues that me and other students have encountered with it. I want to know, is there any way to ensure students know options for recourse that we have, and also a way to maintain that students feel safe about contacting staff about these incidences? On top of that, how do we train these staff members to accurately handle and be there for these students rather than not like being dismissive for the victims involved in sexual harassment, and even lesser just regular harassment for things that are outside of the Title IX violations.
Earning my keep today. So our entire college community, all employees at CCBC are required to take sexual misconduct prevention training annually, every year. That is kind of a baseline, a floor really, of the information that we expect all of our employees to know. And part of that is when and how to refer a case beyond just simply having a conversation with the student. Because sometimes students just want to tell their story and have someone else share in that experience and get some feedback, get some options. Other times they want to report it to public safety, or they want to make a formal complaint under Title IX, which is a gender-based discrimination. But it could easily also be about race or any other protected class. Our employees who specifically handle the adjudication of those cases are nationally certified. So it's a 40-hour training. It's very comprehensive. Title IX is changing. It's changed 3 times in the last 15 years with different presidential administrations. And it's about to change again from what is currently understood in terms of rules and regulations. It's very complex. But I do believe the changes that will be happening under the Biden administration will open the door for allowing additional reporting, not restricting reporting. So I think it's a good change that's coming, hopefully in January. I will say that anyone who experiences challenges or they don't feel that they are getting being heard or being seen should reach out either to the Title IX coordinator, which currently is myself, or really any member of the college administration. Some people are more comfortable than others talking about issues related to sexual harassment and or any of the other protected classes. But that doesn't mean that there aren't individuals that we can connect you with to make sure that you feel heard and you feel supported. The process itself, if you do a formal complaint process, there are protections for the person reporting the complaint, but there are also procedural protections for the person being accused. We have to respect both of those. But we are able to make interim measures to make sure that if, let's say, God forbid, it's a faculty member that you're accusing, that we can put interim measures in place so that it doesn't affect your academic ability while we are investigating, while the process is taking place. And then there's the whole issue of referring externally for support, mental health support. We partner with a number of four-year institutions that do have counseling centers and offer that service, but also some neighborhood organizations that also work to help with that support.
I'd like to add one thing. As I've been listening to your comments, one of the refrains is can't find it on the website. And yes, you're shaking your heads. Yes. So the good news is this website was built about 10 years ago, and we all recognize it's got a lot missing. So the good news is brand new website rolled out probably in February. And I would suggest to our college life folks here to be, I hope, making the same kind of notes I'm making about what students are looking for and cannot find. And I will confess, I have the same problem. And sometimes I think even the provost and I sat together one day looking for something specific on the website. We couldn't find it. So hope is on the way. And we're pretty sure that this new version is going to be far easier to use and more dedicated to actually providing information.
I know that people in the room still have things to say, but I feel really bad for the virtual participants who have been raising their hands. So, Christy, you have been raising your hand for so long. We would love to hear from you. Can we please unmute Christy? Okay, Christy, you will have to unmute yourself, but it is your time to talk. Once again, Christy, you just have to unmute yourself because we cannot hear you. I can start to introduce.
Oh, I'm so sorry. My son was talking to me. I apologize. So in the chat, I brought up an incident that happened the other day at school. And I was happy to find out about this because I could bring it to everyone's attention that having a more selection in the cafe would be beneficial to the different communities that attend the school. So I have a Muslim friend that sits with me during lunch, and he got up to get a meal, and he came back and he started eating it, and he stopped and looked at his food and he said, "There's bacon in here." And I was like, okay, because, I wasn't really known of why he couldn't have bacon. So he explained it to me, and I said to him, I said, "Well, nobody told you?" And he said, "No." So I think being more religious friendly in the cafeteria would be beneficial, and also educating the staff members in the cafe, so that when someone comes up and says, "What's in this?" instead of having a response of "I don't know," actually having a response of what's actually in it, and if it's Muslim friendly or vegan friendly or anything like that. So that was pretty much just it.
Thank you so much, Christy. I do
You're
want to
welcome.
say, oh, do you have anything else?
No. I was just saying you're welcome.
Okay. I actually want to make a comment about that because I was recently at the University of Maryland, College Park, for an honors trip, and they had a very cool system in their cafeteria where all of their food was labeled based on what was in it and how restrictive it was for someone's diet. For example,
Yes, I was
they had
there
different
as
colored
well.
stickers. Yes, Christy was on the trip as well. But they had different colored stickers depending on like the ingredients in the food, and it was very clearly listed for all students. And for the most restrictive foods, they had specifically a purple sticker, and you actually had to be like, it was mostly a buffet, but only the staff could serve you food with a purple sticker, even just to prevent contamination. So I think that that is a very good way that we could go about this.
So to kind of comment on what Christy said, in the cafeteria, there's actually a little note that says that there is a chance of certain contaminations or kind of in the food. And so that's a little unfortunate, especially for people who might have egg allergies or they might have a food allergy, but they do give a discretion, unfortunately, that the food that they serve is possibly contaminated or may have certain ingredients that your body may not be able to kind of interpret well, or that you may not be able to eat, which is unfortunate. But I also do think that it's really important that we kind of do make that the staff or the people who kind of serve the food aware of what is in the food, and that they do kind of make that disclaimer a little bit more noticeable. But I also do believe that, CCPC can kind of do something about that, especially for people who may have certain food restrictions, whether that be for religious reasons or for health reasons.
Right. Just for clarification, we understand that bacon and pork is a no-go for certain religions. We aren't just talking about food restrictions based on allergies. I'd like to see if there was anyone else in the chat who had something to say, because I feel like we have been ignoring you a little bit because of all of the good conversation we've had in the room. But if no one's hand is raised, then someone has a microphone. Okay, this is a very good question. This question is, how are you going to deal with the Palestinian students that feel uncomfortable because of the Palestinian ethnic cleansing in the upcoming bill that will deport any Palestinian people who are not citizens?
I'm not aware of the bill, and I'm maybe not even aware, I'm not sensing that we have issues on our campus, and maybe we do. Maybe we have some and we're not aware of it yet. But this is what I want to say. And this is very important. It's for employees, it's for students, that the Community College of Baltimore County does not take sides. We have students and we have employees who have a Palestinian affinity. We have students and we have employees who have an Israeli affinity. And we would never take a stance that would say, this side, these are heroes and these are villains, or the reverse of that. And if in fact I know at some universities students have acted out, and we've been very clear from the beginning that that doesn't happen here. This is not the place where wars are fought. This is not the place where biases and prejudices take hold to the disadvantage of any particular group of students and any particular group of employees. So we're very firm about that. We're very clear about that. And I know it has created some concern within our campus community, that many college presidents around the country have taken sides, but that doesn't happen here. And I think one of the reasons why we can be successful in maintaining a kind of neutrality and peace. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Everybody's entitled to their own side, but that gets acted out elsewhere. It doesn't get acted out here. And that's the position we will continue to take, not just on this issue, but on any divisive issue where we actually are the custodians of the care and the training of people of all affinities. And in fact, that's one of the things I think our faculty and our staff, by behavior, by attitude, by a kind of gentle as opposed to assaultive approach to a big issue like this, I think that's one reason why our campuses can be places of refuge and calm as opposed to places of demonstration or violent reactions. Now, what I've said to you is I'm saying it very firmly and very clearly because I know that that's what we must do here. That is, this is a college. It's a place where we expose students to the world, but we don't do it by pointing fingers. So all of us are, maybe not all of us. I'd like to know if there are issues where people feel uncomfortable because of what is going on in the Middle East. And if that's the case, we have ways to help students because we know that many students and some employees are having great difficulty dealing with what's happening in the Middle East. And we're prepared through the Office of College Life and its partners to be able to deal with that. So Emma, forgive me for being so strident on this issue, but that's the only way I can answer that statement because I'm not aware of any law that's pending, and certainly there's no law that we're aware of in Maryland. I could be wrong, but that's where we feel.
Thank you. I hope that did a decent job of answering your concerns. Of course, if you have additional concerns, we have a lot of resources on campus that you can access to help further walk through these very real concerns of yours. Since there's no other hand raised in the chat, and I know that other question was answered by someone else in the chat, let's go to the person with the microphone in the back row.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Gabrielle, and my concern is pretty much similar to Loretta's concern. I am an accounting major, and when I just started, I was not sure if I wanted to transfer or enter the workforce after 2 years. So I was looking for certificates or anything that can help in the meantime while I was still taking credited classes toward my degree. And I came across this program, which is continuing education. It was 20 or 30 hours. And I have started spring 2021 or 2022 last year, I believe. And the problem is if you take a class, if you start right now, the next class that you might want to take is like 4 or 5 months from now. So since then, I have not even finished it because it will take me 2 years to finish that program of 30 hours. And while I'm done transferring to a 4-year college. So my suggestion would be, or my point would be to implement more classes like 4 or 5 weeks or at least a few days after your first classes, so you won't take too long to complete like a 30 hours program. Thank you very much.
Sure. Before I answer, can I ask how you found out about the continuing education option?
Sure. So I went online and I looked for certificates throughout the my pathways, which was business, and I came across continuing education classes. And the website told you about like certificates to help throughout your studies.
Yeah, good. And Gabrielle, are you still taking the accounting program for a degree as well?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Well, you put your finger on a concern that sometimes we come across, which is time to completion, right? How quickly can a student advance in their program? The coordination of those two programs happen still in different parts of the organization, but the president has really challenged us as a college to think more effectively about how we integrate the continuing education and credit programming in ways that are stackable and more efficient. We're not quite there yet, and I don't know that I can give you a solution today, but it's certainly an area where we're looking to be even more efficient. Until then, it may be a good idea, and you feel free to reach out to me, to touch base directly with the academic department that offers that continuing education program, and I can help you do that to determine if in fact there is something that we can do more effectively to help you make your program ongoing and not interrupted.
Alrighty, thank you very much.
Okay, I am so sorry to anyone who has not gotten to talk yet, but we must wrap up now. The good news is, if we can pull up the PowerPoint again, our last slide is ways to contact us. You can submit any proposals or concerns or questions that you have to the QR code that will be on the screen shortly, and we can aid you in presenting these ideas to the administration that is here today. We had a very, very great discussion, and I'm really proud of everyone who came today to give your proposals and take this opportunity to talk to President Curtin-Nitis and the rest of the administration here today. Once again, we are part of student engagement. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, that kind of stuff. We have text alerts. You can email student engagement, and you can fill out our feedback form. It's not just feedback for us, it's feedback for CCBC. So if you had something here today you couldn't say, submit it to us and we'll work on it for you. Thank you for joining us today.